Chapter 2. Dreaming of Narnia. Last night I dreamt I went to Narnia again. I stood under the lamppost, felt the snow crunch under my feet, and shivered despite the warmth of my fur coat. I didn't know if I had arrived in happy or dark times. Was this an ordinary winter, or the endless reign of the White Witch? Would I be brave enough for the challenges ahead, or would I succumb to the lure of enchanted Turkish delight? I don't know what age I was in the dream, if I was the woman I am now, or the girl who stepped into the wardrobe when she was a child. I've been dreaming of Narnia almost all of my life. Where did it begin? Reading has always been a great source of comfort, knowledge, pleasure, and joy. It is the most central aspect of my identity. The truest thing I could say about myself is, I am a reader. Growing up, I often preferred reading to engaging with real life. Lost and sad in my late 20s, I found consolation when I got a job in a bookshop. When I briefly dallied with internet dating, I described myself as amiable bookworm. Pregnant with my son Matt, I patted my bump and dreamed of all the books we would read together. The first thing I do in any new place is look for the bookshop and the library. When I make a new friend, I wonder what sits on their shelves. My granny gave me my first book when I was a few months old. The pages were made of cloth, and it was about the seaside. My mother tells me I used to gum on it for hours, staring at the letters as though I knew that words were going to be important to me. I was alert around books. Mum couldn't read me to sleep because I would get increasingly excited as the story went on. Reading woke me up rather than calmed me down. I don't remember learning to read. It feels like something that happened by magic rather than a skill that I had to acquire. "What should I do with this little girl?" asked my fairy godmother as she leaned over my carry-cot. "I know, I will make her a reader." And so she waved her wand and sealed my fate, and gave me a gift that has brightened my days, expanded my horizons, and kept me company through the darkest hours. The first stories I remember were not in books, but sung to me by my dad. He was an orphan who had run away to sea from Ireland when he was 15. He met my mother when his ship docked into Falmouth 3 years later. They looked at each other across Custom House Quay, and that was that. 4 years later I arrived, and then my brother Matty. Dad took work on dry land so we could be together, and we lived in a caravan so we could follow him around the country as he did various dirty jobs that involved construction and drilling. It was a time before seatbelts and radios in cars, so Matty and I roamed free and unbuckled on the back seat of the Land Rover as Dad sang about brave Irish rebels and wanderers. The men in the songs were always on the move, often working hard and being betrayed by women. Sometimes they were fighting for Ireland and being badly treated by the British. I used to beg for more and loved to sing along. When we were nearing school age, Dad became a tin miner so we could stay in the same place. We went back to Cornwall and lived in a bungalow in Lanna at the top of a hill. Mum was doing an Open University degree. She'd tell Matty and I that if we let her study for an hour, she would read us a chapter of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. The time passed so slowly as we waited to be transported to Narnia. Once there were 4 children called Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy, who are evacuated from London during the Blitz to live with an old professor in a mysterious house that has secrets even he knows nothing about. One rainy day, exploring, Lucy peers into a big wardrobe full of fur coats. She walks in. There's another rail of coats. This wardrobe is enormous, she thinks, as something crunches under her feet. Mothballs? No, it's snow. There are trees and a lamppost. Lucy meets a faun called Mr. Tumnus, who has the legs of a goat but is shaped like a man from the waist up. When Lucy explains how she got there, Mr. Tumnus thinks she has come from the bright city of Wardrobe in the far land of Spur and says that if he had only worked harder at geography when he was a little faun, he would know about those strange countries. Lucy has found her way to Narnia, and so begin the adventures that will see her, Peter, Susan and Edmund join Aslan the Lion to triumph over the White Witch and bring spring and happiness back to these frozen lands. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe was published in 1950, and the descriptions of food take on an added lustre when you think of them against the backdrop of post-war austerity. Mr. Tumnus gives Lucy a brown boiled egg for tea and sardines on toast, and then a sugar-topped cake. When Lucy returns to Narnia with the other children, Mr. Beaver fries up fish and potatoes, and Mrs.